Hi everybody, it's Lindsay from Fresh Start Tuition. Somebody asked me this morning, do you have any ideas for literacy or numeracy for kids when there happens to be a gaming family? And one of the things I came up with was about dice. So if you are a gaming person, particularly if you play Dungeons and Dragons, you might have a set of dice, the Polyhedral Dice. So I think D4 is the smallest. 6, 8, 10, 12, and 20, I believe. I'm a Dungeons & Dragons newbie, so I'm not quite sure if there's more than that, but it works for me. So these dice have numbers on them depending on the size. So my D20 goes all the way up to 20. But if you are just looking around your house, you're likely to have normal D6 dice, which is just a normal cube dice. Okay, and what you can do is change out your practice a little bit by, instead of doing maths on paper, do maths on the dice. So if I roll, that's a little loud, whoops. If I roll 2 dice, I get a 2 and a 3. So I could add those and say 2 plus 3 is 5. With the same 2 numbers, I could do the bigger number minus the smallest number and do 3 minus 2, it gives me 1. I could also do 2 times 3 equals 6. And I could do, for those slightly harder mathematicians, 2 minus 3 would get me minus 1, just by rolling the dice once. If you have somebody who's just practicing at addition or subtraction, it's not a good idea to do all of them with each roll unless they're already capable of doing each of those types of sums. So you might have 2 dice and roll it. There's a 4 and a 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. And roll it again. 5 and a 5 is 10. And roll it again. 6 and a 5 is 11. I'm getting really good rolls. This is awesome. And 4 and a 6, there's a 10. 5 and a 2 is a 7. So those are all addition sums. I can then do it backwards. I've got a 3 and a 1, that's a subtraction, that gives me 3. 5 and a 1 gives me 4. 6 and a 5 gives me 1. 5 and a 4 gives me 1. I've got a lot of 1s. 6 and a 3 gives me 3. And so you can do that and say how many can you do in a certain time frame, or can you get 5 in a row right? Can you get 10 in a row right? And maybe keep a tally chart or something, and then gradually build it up over time so that they get more confident with each type of sum. A little bit more tricky, multiplication. So 1 and 6 is 6. 5 and 4 is 20. 4 and 1 is just 4. 2 and 3 is 6, nearly lost the dice. 4 and 5 is 20 again. 4 and 2 is 8. 2 and 3 is 6 again. 4 and 5 is 20. That seems to be really popular. 6 and 4 is 24. 2 and 4 is 8. 3 and 4 is 12. Okay, so good multiplication. The division is a little bit trickier because you are less likely to have students who are able to divide by decimals yet, depending on their age group. So if this is a primary activity, you're looking at year 6, year 7 being able to do this, but we wouldn't expect decimal division under about year 5 at the earliest. Depends on the student. If the divisions are even numbers, then it can work. So 4 divided by 1 is just going to give me 4. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. 5 divided by 1, easy enough. 2 and 4, so 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. 5 divided by 4, you might be able to get them to figure that out. So 4 goes into 5 once, and we know that there's 1 left over. For a lot of students, just calculating the remainder is a really good step. And then you can say, okay, well, the 1 left over divided by 4, 1 whole split into 4 is 4 quarters. So it's 1 1/4. That takes a little bit more work. But I would try the addition, subtraction first, then try the multiplication, and then you can start adding in different dice. So I did that with 2d6s, which is your normal dice, but I could do it with things that are a little bit more complicated. Oh, I need a 20. Where's my 20? There we go. Okay, so those of you that don't know, this is called a D20. I had no idea until last year that these existed. 20 sides on the dice, so it's a lot more different combinations. So if I roll them, I've got a 9 and a 15, it gives me 24. And a 17 and a 14 is 31. And 11 and 7 is 18. 17 and, is that upside down? Oh, 17 and 6, that's 23. And 13 and 17 is 30. So you can do addition or subtraction with larger numbers. When it gets to multiplication, you've got to be a little bit careful because most people will not be able to multiply them out in their head from a D20's numbers. So you might then have to resort to doing it on paper or a mini whiteboard. But if you happen to have a set of these dice, maybe something like a D8 is more manageable, or a D10 where you're limited to 10 times 10, which with the times tables that we're expecting everybody to learn, that should be possible. Okay, so once you've done loads of those with 2 dice, you can increase the difficulty by adding 3 or 4 or 5 dice. So if I roll 4 dice here, I've got a 5 and a 4 and a 7 and an 8. 8 and 4 is 12. And 7 is 19 and 5 is 24, so my total is 24. What you can then do is roll a couple of other dice. So I've got 3 dice, 11, a 5 and a 3, 14 and 19. So I have 19 and 24. What's the difference between my 2 sets? That's a 5. So you've got adding in one side, adding on the other side, and then you've got a subtraction in the middle. So that's something that you can give a try. If you don't have a set of these dice, just use regular dice. There is bound to be a board game somewhere in your house that has dice. Read all of your board game stash. They're probably going to come out over the next 12 weeks anyway, so now is a good time to find them, get them cleaned up, make sure all the parts are there, and then give them a try. But in the meantime, pinch the dice and give this a go. So I hope that's helped, and it's just something a little bit different. I'm going to keep making as many videos as I can about lots of different things that I come up with. My brain pings with ideas sometimes and I go, oh, I need to do that. So I've started writing down that list, and then I will try and make the videos for each one. And as much as possible, I am coming up with things that are in your own home already, so that you do not have to go shopping for them, do not have to go out in this isolation period, and can stay safe at home. I'm putting all of my ideas into my group, which is Home Education Ideas with Fresh Situation. So it's a free group to join. It's just a place where all of these videos, anything that I can write down or have ideas for, will go in there. So the one about the paint bags that I did earlier, here is my very beautiful paint diagram. You can totally tell that this is the sunshine, and this is the grass, and this is Sizzle and Bernie. I'm just doing really well with painting. I think my skills are on par with about a 5-year-old. But that's going to be in there. I'm going to put the dice video in, and all of the big list of ideas that I came up with a video last week, that's going to go in there. And then I will keep adding different things, as well as links to free resources and websites and anything else I can help with. Okay, so have a really good day. Thanks very much, everybody.